going towards it already.
No, I get it. Yeah, because I had a big question about that because, listen, we understand what's going on and the removal of these elites and
Yeah.
removal of these demonic entities from under the underground and in our world. So in my mind, of course, I'm saying to myself, okay, so how do we get from the current world into the world that's destined to be?
Yeah. Well,
And I know
it's a journey.
it's a journey. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like you get to the 21st of December and then overnight you all wake up and
Right.
it's there. Yeah.
Right.
So I said, so how will the world look or change as we now go towards this divinely decreed event? And they said the world as we know it is going to change from the inside out, and that the fabric of everything we currently know and understand is going to change on a quantum level, and that all matter will evolve as thoughts and consciousness evolve and as more hearts open. And I said, so how is this going to look like practically in everyday terms? And they said on a practical day-to-day level, it's going to become more harmonious, more community orientated, and more love thy neighbor. They said that people will pool their skill sets and work towards the good of humanity. And people will be more in their essence, more loving and more trusting.
Makes sense.
They're going to be less stressed as their lives move more into being rather than striving. So they're going to get up with this flow rather than this, I need to do this today. They're going to wake up with this, how do I feel today? What do I feel like doing?
Right.
They were saying that cities will turn into communities as corporate trade will diminish. And they said that old offices will be turned into homes, and that city areas will be free of the burdens, will now be free of the burdens of like commuters. And so there will be like cleaner and more open spaces and clean air in the cities. They said that healing technology in the way of like these healing towers are going to be put up. And these are going to emit healing frequencies, which will be pulsed like all around the perimeters of these big cities. And they told me actually that London and New York will be the first ones to have that. So they're going to put up something like a Tesla towers system all around these cities, switch it on, and then New York and London are then all going to have their vibration lifted, and that they will become healing cities.
Wow.
They said there'll be more green spaces and there'll be less traffic because they're going to pedestrianize a lot of the streets and plant more wildlife. And they said that transportation is unlikely to need roads in the future because faster trains, which are going to be elevated above the city and which will be propelled magnetically and at speed. So this is going to like create free and clean transport. And they talked about driverless flying cars, again, working on these magnetic energetic grids of light, which you and I talked about earlier, in this interview. And they said that would just take people like easily to any location. They said that the underground transport system, which you have in New York and we have in London, that's going to go because that affects the magnetic pulsations of the earth, because obviously those trains and things going through, it affects Gaia. So they're going to be stopped over time. And they also said that gigantic crystals will be used around cities to send frequencies of light and healing, and that the crystals will be naturally sort of cleansed by all the elements of nature, which they're now going to plant everywhere. And they said that sound frequencies will be the new medicine for illness. They're saying that illness in the golden age will be minimized as healing frequencies become normal in all your buildings and your transport and all areas of recreation. They said that the buildings like Buckingham Palace, Houses of Parliament, they're all going to be taken down and renovated.
Yep.
And they said that crystal technology and sound will run in all homes in the future. They said that harmful emissions from transport and EMFs and harmful things from corporations will be halted completely. And they said that any business that is not heart-centered, or it doesn't have a mission of, how may I serve, that just won't survive. It won't survive.
Right.
They said that more activities will be held outside as the weather around the world becomes more steady, warmer, and it will go back more to the predictive seasonal things that we had before they started to manipulate weather. And they said that they will stop resources being mined from Mother Earth, like drilling and fracking and that sort of thing. They're going to stop all of that. They said that animals will be free to wander, and they will no longer be kept in zoos, as people's hearts will be open and they'll be able to hear the animals, so that they'll know not to keep an animal locked up, because they'll be able to hear what the animal has to say. And they're saying that animals will have the ability to teach us, regardless of our age or culture, and that we will actually revere animals. We will revere them and insects. And they were saying that as habitats are restored naturally for the animals, then things like flies and foxes and things that we deem as a nuisance, we will now actually invite them into our space, and we'll all live together in harmony. They won't be deemed as nuisance animals anymore.
Right.
They also said that as the nature of business and trade changes, so will the need for people to work long hours. You're not going to need to do that anymore.
Right.
And so your time will now be dedicated more to recreation and having fun and relaxation.
Yeah.
And they said that people in this relaxed state will emanate all this light from them. And so it will nurture everybody as they meet them, because now they're not having to work, 80 hours a week. They'll be more relaxed and being instead of striving. So again, this will help the consciousness to go up. And then the last few things they said was that food will be plentiful, it will be organic, and it will be locally grown. And that people will exchange their homegrown produce within their sort of local communities. So it'd be like a barter system. And they said there's going to be much joy and happiness and peace. And they said that leaders will not be necessary as people start to lead and cooperate from the grassroots levels. So they're saying that the law will change to allow local communities to work within the constructs of common law. So I think we probably knew a lot of that stuff already, but they just wanted to confirm it to you.